Good evening, ghoul dudes and ghoul dudettes. It's Maggie. We hope you enjoyed our first teaser trailer ever on Cheese for Thought. Tonight's episode involves a murder mystery that took nearly 7 decades to identify the victim. Who did this? Will we find out? Let's talk about it. Tonight we have Ariel discussing the boy in the box. If you haven't already, please like and follow us at Cheese for Thought Podcast on Facebook and TikTok. And then please email us your case suggestions to contact us at cheeseforthoughtpodcast.com. This is Maggie.
This is Drew.
And this is Ariel.
And you're listening to Cheese for Thought.
Alright guys, let's get into this. Today we will be talking about one of America's infamous unsolved murders. We will be discussing the boy in the box, also known as Joseph Augustus Zarelli.
Augustus.
He was born on January 13th, 1953, and he was found on February 25th, 1957, making him a tad over 4 years old. He was found unclothed, clearly malnourished, and beaten severely.
Jesus.
He also had tufts of hair all over his body. He was found on the Susquehanna Road in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Sorry if I mispronounced that. His body was freshly cleaned, hair trimmed, severely close to the scalp, and his nails were freshly trimmed. His body was covered in scars, some surgical, found on his ankle, groin, and chin. It is believed that he had died by blunt force trauma.
Jeez, they
It's
mutilated
so
his body.
sad.
Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, he was unknown until December 8th, 2022.
That's my birthday.
December 8th.
Oh, sorry. Not my birthday.
It's my birthday.
Making that 65 years, 9 months, and 13 days after he was found.
Holy crap, that's a long time. Wait, they didn't
Wait,
find
how
his
long?
body?
I missed it.
No, that was when they identified who he
Oh,
was.
okay, sorry.
So it took him 65 years, 9 months, and 13 days after he was
Why
found
did it take so long?
to identify him.
Well,
Great question. I'll cover that.
That's great.
Let's
That's
hear
a
it.
long time.
That's a very long
It's
time.
like they
That
did.
is a
It's
long
like
time.
I don't know.
That's almost an entire lifetime for some people.
Yeah, for sure.
When you say it's like it took them that long, it made me. The first thing was like, wow, they didn't care. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, it's just a child. Like, who cares? Like, no, that's fucked.
No, I think they cared.
That's fucked up.
How long ago was this?
He died in 1957.
Holy crap.
And they just identified him in 2022.
Holy crap, that's a very
1957?
Yeah, that's when he
yeah,
died.
57.
So it's like not like too far ago where they wouldn't know
Right.
What do you mean?
like DNA and
Oh,
stuff like that.
in that
so it's
sense.
not like that far ago. Like
Yeah, they're. I talk about that later on, but the DNA was not as good as it is now, obviously.
right.
So now this case took a lot of interest, but no one ever came forward as to knowing who he was. On November 30th, 2022, the Philadelphia Police Department announced that they had determined Joseph's identity through genetic testing.
Okay.
The exact cause of death are still uncertain to this day, and it is still considered an open homicide investigation.
But they know that it was blunt force trauma.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, they know
Yeah.
that at least.
Yeah. They just don't know who did it, why, or technically how.
Jeez.
So, on February 25th, 1957, we're going to go all the way back here.
57. Okay.
Yes, when the
trying to
body was found.
Yeah, just trying to get in the right
Yep.
time frame.
So, the body was found in a plaid blanket in a box. The body was actually found by a man who was checking his rabbit traps. And he did just what you'd expect. Absolutely nothing.
He saw this box and didn't do
He
anything
did not
with
do
it.
a single thing. He did not phone the police, nothing.
What?
Nope.
Why?
He came across the body and did jack diddly.
Wait, he actually opened the box too and saw the body and did nothing with
Correct. Yeah.
Who
He's-
does?
that? I thought he just like ignored the box on his property.
Nope.
Well, okay,
he
even
found
if-
it on the side of the road because he was doing rabbit traps and everything, but Oh, just completely ignored it.
Okay, so if I walk
How'd
by,
they find out about that too?
We'll get into it.
like
Okay.
if I'm walking on the side of the road and like whatever, checking my rabbit traps as the guy was doing, like usually if there's a box, I just walk by it. I don't. Like,
That's what I assumed when she first
don't
said it.
Check.
Like,
I don't
you
like.
didn't.
Hey, what's in the box? But the fact that he looked in it and he didn't do anything. What kind of human being are
terrible.
you? I mean, granted there weren't cell phones back there, but you think you would just run to the nearest phone and call the cops?
Yep.
Yeah, that's not something you forget about when you're home from your shift.
Like,
that
oh,
day.
hey, a box with a body in it. I wonder what my rabbit traps are like.
And that's what happened. He didn't end up reporting it because he thought the police would take away his traps because he was hunting illegally.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's so much more important.
Yeah, he was
Than a
hunting illegally,
4-year-old
so he
body.
thought he was going to get in trouble.
Wow, that's pretty shitty.
Yeah. So later that day,
Sounds
some
like a
sources
pool.
some
Yeah.
sources say this was the same day. Other sources say about 2 to 3 days passed, and a college student saw a rabbit running into the underbrush from the road. So he stopped, knowing there were traps on the side of the road. So he wanted to see if the rabbit was caught. And then he came across the body, so he immediately went and found a phone and called the cops.
Well, at least he did the right thing.
Right?
Sources say that he wasn't sure if this was a doll or possibly a missing girl that was reported missing just a few days earlier. So he thought maybe he found her body, not knowing that this was someone not even reported missing.
Okay.
Why wasn't he reported missing?
We'll get into that too.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
That's very. Wow. I don't even know what to say to that. Like, that's very off putting. He's 4
yeah.
years old. Why is he
That's
not
true.
reported missing?
Okay, was this like in the countryside? Was this like in this inner city? This
Yeah, I mean, it was outside of Philadelphia, so it was in the outer skirts of the city.
Okay. I'm just, yeah.
But we'll get into like his family and everything like that, and that's, I think, my opinion is why he wasn't reported missing.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
So the naked body of Joseph was found in a cardboard box, as I had mentioned. And the box once contained a bassinet that was sold exclusively at JCPenney. So the police opened a report and investigation, hoping that the body would be identified shortly after, as anybody would think.
Yeah.
Right.
So the case obviously attracted a lot of attention because it involved a young boy. The Philadelphia Inquirer printed 400,000 flyers that showed what he had looked like. They posted these everywhere: milk cartons, billboards, the mail, and they were put on every single gas bill in the whole state of Pennsylvania.
Jeez.
The crime scene was gone through by 270 police recruits.
So recruits like newer students in the police academy?
Yeah,
or, okay.
everybody. They had pretty much everybody they had go through it just to make sure they didn't miss
Okay.
anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
they do that a lot. Just because
Oh.
it's like brand new set of eyes. And like especially when they're just out of like the like school.
Academy?
Yeah.
They know, yeah, and
Right.
tactics
Everything's
are
so
constantly
fresh
changing.
in their brain. So
Oh, like the stuff they teach them is so like imprinted on them.
Right.
So,
right, like
yeah.
if you don't use it, you lose it. So I'm sure a lot of cops, older cops, will like lose that knowledge.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So
I
it's,
didn't.
it's
Yeah,
good to
I
have
never
like
would
a
have
younger
thought of that.
set of eyes.
Plus, their stuff is constantly changing how they do things. So,
right.
so they did find, they found a man's blue cap, a child's scarf, and a man's handkerchief with the letter G in the corner, and this all led nowhere. They then posted a photo of Joseph's lifeless body, fully clothed and in a seated position, in hopes they would get a clue.
Jeez, I mean, so they put that stuff like for the public to see?
Yes.
Ooh, that's kind of creepy.
I
Like,
would
I
not
guess if
wanna
they
see
didn't have
that.
any photo, like they're trying to get any information out of it.
And you gotta
like-
remember too that he was never reported missing, so they didn't have any photos from the family or anything to say,
Oh,
hey,
yeah,
you know,
that's true.
this is what he currently looks like, this is what he used to look like. They had none of that.
Just
They were
imagine, like,
just going off the crime scene photo.
pulling the milk out of the fridge and like you're reading it because you just need something to read while you're eating. It's just like, oh, there is a.
And it was his body completely nude and beaten with bruises and everything. It was
on
his
the
face.
milk.
Yeah.
That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Obviously his privates and stuff are covered, but his
Yeah,
face
but
all
still.
bruised and stuff, yeah.
And
Like, well-
kids drink those cartons.
Yeah, it's like, well, I'm not hungry anymore.
But I think in a way it's kind of a scare tactic too, that if you know something, report it so this doesn't happen to your child or something like that.
Shit was wild back in the day.
Yeah, it was. You
They
ain't
would never
lying.
do something like that now.
No. So, they then, yeah, as I said, they posted the photo of his body in a seated position in hopes they would get a clue because it's a different photo of him in a different position. Maybe someone would recognize him from that angle. So in 1998, we're unfortunately jumping ahead because they were left with nothing. They had no clue what was going on. So in 1998, Joseph's body was exhumed to get DNA from a tooth. On March 21st, 2016, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children put out a forensic reconstruction of him and added him to the database. I don't know why that took so long, but it did.
Yeah.
His body was then again taken in 2019 to get more DNA samples. It's bittersweet. They tried so hard to find out who he was, but also they weren't able to let him rest peacefully. Because there were still so many unknown.
Those are such big
gaps. He deserved
gaps.
it, though. He deserved to.
And like time, the like.
And they weren't getting any clues from the public at this time either. Not a single one.
Well, I mean, okay, so from the 50s till now, like no one's going to know anything about the case anymore.
And even in the 50s, no one had a single tip they were reporting.
So, fucking 60 years later, no one's going to even know that the case, like the public's not even going to know anything about the case.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're talking about it, though.
Yeah, I
so
know.
That's good,
but
right?
Yeah, we're bringing awareness back to it.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
It's still, they say that they're still actively finding what's going on. They have ideas, but they're not releasing them to the public yet, but we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah, he deserves to have people know why and what happened. Yeah, I know.
So Joseph remained an unidentified murder victim for decades. But due to that genetic testing, they were able to discover that Joseph was the child of a prominent family from Delaware County, Pennsylvania. They said they were still searching for suspects at this time. Investigators were able to identify Joseph after one of his cousins uploaded DNA in the database. They highly encouraged this cousin's mother to also submit DNA, and she did. She complied. So this allowed investigators to figure out who Joseph's parents were: Augustus Gus John Zarelli and Mary Betsy Elizabeth Abel. There was no way to figure out or determine how the two of them met, or if Gus even knew that Mary was pregnant at the time.
So they finally identified the parents.
Correct. But they were both already dead.
Oh, that sucks.
So now, did the people that came back as a match, did they know that they were related to him? Because I guess it usually pings on the app, I think.
So that's just it. So they found the cousin. So we get into this later on too. But so the cousin said that she had no recollection that Betsy was pregnant at the time. She had no recollection of her knowing that she was pregnant.
Now, is that her sister? Or
no,
cousin?
It was her cousin.
It was her cousin. So the mom's cousin.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So all the DNA findings were because of the mom's family. They found them on the DNA site.
Okay.
It's very strange that she didn't know she was pregnant.
Yeah,
her cousin.
It's almost like she was hiding it.
So then they thought, well, we'll get into the conspiracies about that we're jumping a little.
A lot of secrets in this family.
There's a lot of secrets, and two, they were also immigrated here too. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and plus two, back then it was very frowned upon to have a child out of wedlock. His parents were not married.
That's true.
And it was very frowned upon with the church having a bastard child and the Catholic Church and everything. So and she was young. Apparently, she was only 20 or 21 when she had him. So I don't know if she kept it a secret from her family. I don't know if she didn't know who the real father was. I don't know.
I hated how back then, like, religion ruled over like every moral.
Yep.
It's not right.
In a way, it still kind of does. I feel like it does.
It does.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it was, but back then it was just like how.
But...
Like it's
or maybe it's more closeted now. I don't know.
Yeah,
there's still religions that are cults.
It's like it's a human being. It's a little baby that was yours, and like you're so terrified because of religion is not going to accept you that that's more important than your child that you had. Like I'm not trying to bash on religion or anything. If you are religious, that's fine. That's up to you. I don't know where I stand with the situation, but like I don't want to hate on anyone because of their religious beliefs, but like that's fucking crazy to me. That's just nuts to me.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm. So back in 1960, a man named Remington Bristol, who worked at the medical examiner's office, he kept on Joseph's death until 1993.
Good for him.
He was very focused on figuring out who did this, why, and it really touched his heart. So he reached out to a New Jersey psychic medium who told him to search for a house that matched a foster home. When the psychic was brought out to the crime scene, she led Bristol to the exact foster home that it was believed that someone related to the boy lived there. So when Bristol was at an estate sale nearby, he discovered a bassinet that was very similar to the one sold at JCPenney and blankets on a clothesline that were the exact same kind that his body was wrapped in.
Interesting.
Fucking JCPenney did it. Done. Solved.
So this led him to believe to get into the conspiracy that he believed Joseph was the son of the stepdaughter of the man running the foster home. He believed they killed Joseph so that the stepdaughter wouldn't be outed as an unwedded mother, having the bastard child. But all of the kids were accounted for at the foster home, so the police threw this idea away. The police then confirmed later on this family had nothing to do with this in the slightest. All of them had alibis that checked out. And obviously, since then, they figured out that his mother was named Betsy, so she had nothing to do with the foster home.
Okay.
So another theory, this one is interesting. Martha, also known as M, in February of 2002, Martha came forward stating that her mother and father killed the boy. Police thought this was possible, so they looked into it. They were pretty much taking anything they could get at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
But
as you should.
Due to M's mental health and details given that didn't match what they had found, they were skeptical. M claims that her parents purchased a boy named Jonathan from his birth parents in 1954, and they beat him so bad that he ended up passing away, and they threw his body away.
Fucking purchase? Like, who the fuck purchases a child?
Would she make that up?
I don't know. I don't know why anybody would, but she had mental health issues. So I don't know. But police could not corroborate this story. Neighbors of M's family at the time that had access to M's house said there was never a boy that lived there. They knew the parents and that they would never have done this, and this whole claim was absurd. So they threw that away too.
Good. Thank God. I mean, horrible that they can't find, like, a verdict for it or anything, but, like, that'd be horrible.
How old was M?
It didn't say.
Yeah,
but it said that she had a long mental health record, so I'm assuming she had to have been old enough that...
That's true.
They clearly had a case on her.
Younger, I doubt she'd make it up, because kids are very truthful, but...
Yeah, that's the thing, too.
Depending on how old she was.
Yeah, she was older, and she said that her parents purchased a boy. I mean, let's see. So in 2002, she said it, and she said that they purchased him back in 1954, so that was what?
She had to have been
years?
very, very old.
Yeah.
To come forward in 2000.
Oh, said it 50 years later?
Yeah, that's not right.
I think she had some dementia or something going on because...
Not trustworthy.
So then the next theory we talk about is Frank Bender. He's a forensic artist. And Frank thought that Joseph may have been raised as a girl, perhaps explaining the botched haircut that was done quickly and the styled eyebrows on the body. In 2008, he released a sketch of Joseph with long hair that matched strands found on his body, thinking that someone would recognize him if he looked like a girl.
Oh.
But nothing came from that either, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I don't think back then that was, like, a thing.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't think so either, but I was like, maybe if someone really wanted a girl and they got a boy, I don't know. Maybe they beat him because...
that's true. I could see some crazy person back then, like...
Yeah, and that's what he thought, too. So then the burial. So Joseph was buried in Pottersfield. In 1998, he was reburied at the Ivy Hill Cemetery. The cemetery actually donated a huge plot to him. The coffin, headstone, and funeral services were also donated by the son of the man who first buried him in 1957.
Okay.
So
that's
his family,
cool.
yeah. So his family kind of like adopted him in, took care of him.
Yeah.
So his funeral gained lots of public attendance, and the grave was covered in toys and flowers.
Oh.
Even now, toys and flowers are still constantly covered his grave, and someone comes weekly to give fresh flowers.
Oh, that's nice.
It is.
So the stone originally said, "America's unknown child." That said, "Heavenly Father, please bless this unknown boy." So then on January 13th, 2023, which would have been Joseph's 70th birthday, new memorial was done with his full name on the gravestone.
I'm happy they switched it to his actual name.
And they put a picture of him on there too.
Yeah, I like that a lot better.
And they used his same photo, but they got rid of all the blemishes and stuff. And
Good.
Aww. I hope we can find that online. That'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a picture.
Yeah, we should look it up after.
So as of 2022, Joseph's death is still considered an active homicide. Investigators are still asking for the public's help. Both of his parents have passed away, but they found that he still has half-siblings alive.
Okay.
Joseph lived in the area of 61st Street and Market Street. They are not sure what neighbors knew and didn't know. Since he was only 4, this means that someone had to have seen him at one point.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Either leaving the house or something. It has been since discovered that Joseph's mother, Mary, also known as Betsy, had one other child before him, which has been believed to have been given up for adoption because the Catholic Church became involved.
Of course. Why was it adoption seemed like it was a very, very like popular thing back in like
well, it's because she wasn't married too.
Yeah, the early 1900s, the late 1800s. It was like if you couldn't like take care of your kid. It was just like, oh, well, let's give them up to adoption. It seemed like such a very common thing. Like, I don't know if orphanages are as big as they were now. Like, I don't really hear anything about them.
Yeah, I don't really hear any.
Yeah.
I don't either.
I know they're a thing in like other countries.
Yeah.
But now it's like now you have foster homes and everything.
Yeah,
which
I think
wasn't really a thing back
I think
then.
that was their goal, was to kind of like get rid of orphanages and like create foster homes, so it wasn't as demeaning, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the thing is too. So if they said she was around 20 to 21 having Joseph, she might have also been a teen mom, unmarried with that first one.
True. Yeah.
So then that's like a double no. If you're, a minor, plus you're not married, you're having sex before marriage, already like the three, like, no.
The big 3 no-nos.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially in the Catholic Church's eyes.
Very
because
big
if you're not a virgin and stuff, you're not pure and stuff before marriage, it's a sin.
Right.
His mother since married after that, changing her last name to Plunkett. So DNA testing found out that she also had 3 more children after she was married to her new husband.
Okay.
So the DNA testing found that out. The relatives from the DNA search from the cousin and aunt led to finding his birth certificate and found that Zarelli was never reported missing from anybody. Neither one of his parents reported him as missing, which goes back into the fact that Gus, the dad, might not have ever known he existed.
Okay.
Or was he put up for adoption too?
Or Gus didn't like him.
Yeah, that's just it.
Yeah.
However, a relative of Betsy, his mother, said there was no way that she was involved in his disappearance or murder.
Okay, well, why didn't you report it? I just
That's
don't get that.
It. Unless he truly was given up for adoption right out of the womb and she had no clue. But I don't know. I couldn't confirm or deny that. If she truly put him up for adoption or if she kept him as a secret.
Huh.
But you said nobody noticed him like coming in and out of that house.
Right.
Yeah. Was he a feral child or some shit?
I don't know.
What does that mean?
So feral child is like there's cases documented from like the early 1900s where they found a boy living with a pack of wolves. Like he was part of the wolf pack.
Okay.
And they eventually got to take him to like civilization, and he learned how to live with a family, but he had all the mentality of how wolves act.
Isn't that what is the Jungle Book based on that?
I don't know.
Because he was raised by
So yeah, there's been a few cases. I think there's one over in Europe somewhere. A girl was raised by, I don't remember what animal it was, but there's been a couple cases.
Yeah, there's one with gorillas too, I think.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Gorillas are very similar to humans.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So that's what.
Got it.
So then they also discovered that Gus Zarelli had 4 other children other than Joseph. Police reached out to his 4 other kids to get a comment on this, but they had nothing but positive things to say about their father. They also said their family was constantly attacked and bombarded with questions about everything. They are all mortified by the death of Joseph and the events following. His children never knew about Joseph until recently, within the last couple of years. They had no clue that Joseph even existed.
Yeah, that'd be some wild shit finding out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you have it would be half brother, right?
Yeah, you had a half brother that was murdered.
Yeah.
And he was 4 years old. They had no clue.
That would be heavy.
Like, never knowing anything about it.
Yeah, they had no idea. And that's why I kind of lean towards perhaps the dad didn't know, because he was such a great dad to the other 4. I don't know. And none of them knew that he had even existed. There was no photos of him, nothing, to even show that he even ever existed.
Yeah, but look at all. I don't know. I don't want to put blame on anyone, but like, look at what the fuck, Ted Bundy, with the girl, the lady he was dating had a little girl. She had no idea that he was a murderer.
You're talking about the daughter?
Yeah, the daughter and the mother.
Yeah.
Like, serial killers will put a front on in front of people.
So you're saying the mom?
I think the dad had something to do with it. Or maybe both of them.
I don't know where I stand yet.
Okay.
JCPenney's.
Is that your final guess? Are you a Kohl's guy?
Yeah.
Better watch what you say.
Yeah, Kohl's. Shout out Kohl's.
JCPenney's not going to let us run an ad.
JCPenney's like barely not even around anymore. Kohl's is where it's at.
Yeah, they also went bankrupt like 4 times.
Yeah, so
Ran out of bassinets.
Yeah.
But his family and the remaining 4 kids that are still alive have been very compliant with the police. They've offered up any information and assistance they possibly could, but they are very firm believers that their dad never knew that Joseph existed, like I suggested. It seems both sides of the family have stated that they cannot see either one of them harming an innocent child, especially murdering him. It does seem odd, however, that he was never reported missing by anybody. That's the part that sticks with me.
As
If
well.
the dad wasn't aware that she was pregnant, perhaps he didn't. I don't know. This was just a theory that someone posted online. Perhaps he had cheated on his wife at the time. His mistress got pregnant. You know, he gave her some money to take care of it. I don't know. Or perhaps, you know, she had the child and didn't reach out and tell him because she didn't want to ruin his marriage. I don't really know. I could see it going either way.
That's true.
So do they know that he only shared one parent, or did he share both?
With his 4 siblings, they just had the same dad. And then he has siblings on his mom's side, too. They also didn't know that Joseph existed. The 3 that she had with her new husband.
So they definitely had the same mom and dad as the other 4, is what you're talking
No. He was a half brother to everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was the only child between Gus and Betsy.
Yeah.
So then,
So all his siblings had.
are we sure she came from his womb? Or
We're
her
not.
womb?
No.
Her
No,
womb,
that's
sorry.
true. Yeah, they don't know.
They
No.
don't know.
But at least from the DNA, they think so because of the fact that it was a match to the cousin who's related to Betsy. She was first cousins with Betsy.
And if it matched.
And it
It
means
could have
it's-
been like another relative, though, too.
It could have been.
Yeah, so
Yeah, who
it's
knows?
someone on his mother's side he's related to, if not his mother. Say
Right.
like, you know, the
I would
dad
hope
was like,
it's the mom.
"Hey, I
Right.
got the hots for your sister," and then
And who knows? It could have been a one-night stand that turned into something, too. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It could have been anything. But the thing is, too, is that she had a child before Joseph that she gave up for adoption because she was underage. Or possibly she was out of wedlock.
Now, was that the same dad as well?
No. That one was a completely different dad. Like
Okay.
4 years before he was even born.
yikes.
So they had not even met yet.
Okay.
But then, after she was married, she had 3 more kids. And apparently she was an amazing mother to them. So I don't know.
Baby mama problems.
And same with the dad. The 4 kids he had said that he was great. So it's just like, I don't know. It's like the family says they're great, but then it's like, who are these people really behind closed doors? We have no idea.
Well, yeah,
Right.
if you are giving.
I mean, going back to your case, look at Albert Fish. He was apparently an amazing dad to his own kids, didn't harm any of them, but look what he did to other people's kids.
yeah. Well,
And nobody had a clue.
That's what I was trying to say earlier. It's like just because the children said that their parents were amazing, you don't.
And that's probably because they only saw the one side of them, too. Perhaps
Yeah.
they really did see them as amazing.
I don't. I mean, I'm speculating here, but like, if you're giving children up to adoption and you're having children with multiple different people, like, I know people make mistakes, and but like, how great are you deep down if you're giving children away to orphanages? But the 4 after that, you give them everything and anything. I don't know. It's kind of fishy to me.
Right. And then I thought, so this is one theory that I possibly had, was that he was given up for adoption right after coming out of her womb. Perhaps that she was on drugs or something, I don't know. And they found her as an unfit parent because of the fact that she was unmarried, the fact that she had already given up one child and this was a different dad now. Perhaps they just legally took the baby away right away.
Maybe.
It sucks that they didn't find all this while they were alive.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I know. Everything came out way after he was already gone.
Yeah, but who knows if the mother even said anything about it?
That's just it.
You know what I mean? She hid it for this long. Who says she wouldn't hide it longer?
Yeah.
But yeah, that would make sense to me if he was taken, from her right away, possibly.
Right.
Like I said before, it was also brought up that Betsy's family did not recall knowing that she was even pregnant a second time. When she would have been pregnant with Joseph, they had no clue she was pregnant. So there's really only been one good tip that the police received that they're still looking into. They received it about 2 years ago, but they're still looking into it and it has not been released publicly. They said if the killer is still alive today, charges will be brought. We have to be optimistic, but at the end of the day, realistically, the killer's long gone by now. If Joseph would have been 72 by now,
Yeah, he would have
Right.
been
the killer's
gone.
long gone.
Yeah.
Thinking that even if he was a mere teenager killing him, he's long gone.
He's
Or
still-
he'd be like in his 90s or 100.
Right.
And it's just
in
not
yeah,
happening.
probably at least in his 90s.
So I'm hopeful that they can still find out who killed him and at least close the case in our lifetime
right.
and at least get some answers to his brothers and sisters that are still alive, because at the end of the day, they are still innocent in this whole thing.
Yeah. Well, there's justice for the little baby's
Yeah.
name, the sense of like just so he can rest.
Right.
Right.
So my heart does go out to Joseph and his remaining siblings, but I at least am happy that, someone did donate a whole bunch of plot and they donated a nice casket for him. They still make sure his grave is well taken care of. People still go there on his birthday every year, January 13th. They hold a little thing for him.
Cool. That's cool.
The whole town comes together. I think it's very, very sweet. Very, very heartfelt. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you still sticking with you think the dad did it?
I don't know. I don't know now. I feel, part of me feels like the parents had something to do with it, but part of me I could see them like just giving the child up at birth. I can definitely see that.
And the thing is too is like, I don't know how much about this. Was background checks really a thing? Were they just willing to give the kid up to anybody that was in line? I mean, I don't know. Was the church behind this? Could the church have killed him because it was out of wedlock? I don't know what they're capable of doing.
That's some crazy shit.
We see what the church is capable of doing now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, this one's tough.
Did they ever say anything about the father being like an alcoholic or?
No,
nothing.
Nope, they did not say anything about that, and he was never abusive or anything like that. He never hit at his kids.
Okay, wait. So what year did this happen?
1957. He passed away.
57.
So he was born in 53. But they said all his siblings that are alive, they said their dad was never abusive, did not yell at them, did not hit them, nothing. That's why it's like I find it hard to believe that he would have hit Joseph so bad that he had bruises all over himself.
Yeah,
right.
The only reason I say that is because
why kill this one and not kill all the other four?
Right. Or
if
someone
you have
else.
that in you, you're not just going to stop that.
The only thing the only reason I asked that is because if his father was in was in World War II, I know a lot of those guys came back with like severe mental problems, and a lot of them drank heavily to deal with their issues. And I don't know
if he did it in like a
he did it in like
something.
a drunken flashback and didn't know what he was doing. That's the only thing I could think of, but I don't know if the time would have lined up because it might have been a couple years. He could have, but it could have. I don't think so. So I think, no.
And the thing that sticks with me too is why did they botch his hair? Like cut it so close to his scalp.
Yeah, that's some creepy shit.
And then leave tufts of hair all over his body. That just doesn't make sense to me.
It was the rabbit dude. Was it the fucking rabbit dude? Because like, was it animal hair?
How did
it was his own?
Did you ever tell me how did they know that he even opened that box to look at it?
So after the second guy, the college kid, found it, and they released that the body was found, the guy ended up calling it in, saying that he had found it a couple days previously and explained why he didn't.
Fucking pussy.
Did they bring him in for questioning?
Yeah, he was completely clear to the whole thing too.
Ugh.
Yeah, he had nothing to do with it.
Still, fuck him for not saying anything.
He was just a young kid who was illegally hunting, thought he'd get in trouble for it. But I feel like that's common now too. There's a lot of people that see stuff and don't report it because they were also doing something illegal and they're worried that
it was a kid. I thought it was an older dude.
No, I don't think it's said. One was the college guy, and this other one was just some guy walking that did hunting. So, I don't know. It didn't say how old he was, but I don't know. And that's the thing, too, is cops say, too, even if you are doing something illegal, they don't really care about that.
Because the case is a bigger fucking problem. Because usually the case is something bigger, than you hunting rabbit.
Right. So, it would have been nice to know, that guy maybe they could have gotten something else. Who knows what changed with the body in the couple days that was there.
That's true, yeah.
Between the calls. And did he tell someone? Did someone come do something with it? Who knows what it looked like when he first found it.
They said they found a handkerchief with the letter...
It was a letter G, which there was no DNA on it, nothing.
Last names that start with G in the area?
I don't know. Yeah, they said nothing came from the hat, the scarf, or the handkerchief.
That's like their clues almost.
Yeah.
From the murderer. Were there any other cases after this similar to it?
No. And same with the girl that went missing right before Joseph, completely unrelated.
Huh. So they did find her?
Yeah, they found out everything with her. She was also murdered, completely unrelated to this, though.
This one's a thinker. I don't even know what I think.
Fuck, I don't know. I don't know what to think either, because it's so, like, there's no information at all.
I know.
There's, like, zero.
It, like, makes you think. Like, I mean, obviously we had some good conspiracies here thinking of what you said. I didn't even think about, like, the dad or him possibly doing something in some sort of drunken thing. I would have never thought about that. But it's just, like, the one good thing I feel like that came from this whole thing is the fact that it did bring the town together. Yeah. And they are able to come together one day a year to celebrate him. And the fact that now his face and his name is on that grave. I don't know. It just...
How did they find out his name?
From his birth certificate that they found through the DNA.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So for the longest time, they didn't even know the name.
Right.
They knew nothing about it.
It was unknown.
Wow. Oh, yeah, that's right, because you said they changed it on the headstone.
Yeah, and then, like I said, some other sources said that his family immigrated here, or his dad did, from Europe, and, like, they said that there wasn't much family history here.
Did they say what country?
No.
No. Wow, they don't know like nothing.
Right. And like I said, like the siblings are being compliant and everything, which is great. I feel like if they had something to hide, they wouldn't be as generous as they are with everything. But they're just as mortified by the whole thing as we are.
Oh, yeah, I don't think they have anything to do with it. They don't even know anything about it.
Yeah, they didn't even know he existed until a couple of years ago. And they were being harassed by, like, the public, too. Was going up to them and be like, what do you know about it?
Jeez, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, because everybody wanted justice. I understand people wanted justice for this, but there's a good way and a bad way to go about it. And harassing a victim's family. Yeah. That's going to make the people recluse themselves even further.
Yeah, and it's definitely not going to get solved then because the family's going to be like, I don't want nothing to do with this anymore because I don't have anything to do with it, but the public is just like mobbing me every time I go out.
I think, honestly, I can relate back to Ted Bundy's daughter, too. She even ended up changing her last name, I believe, too, because she was being harassed so much.
Yeah.
It's like,
I would do the same.
I would, too. It's like what someone in your family did has nothing to do with you.
Dude, I do not kill people. I'm nothing like him.
Right. So what do you have any theories or anything?
I don't.
You're bamboozled?
I am.
Bamboozled. It's a funny word.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's all I got from my end. Is there anything else you want to add, Drew?
I don't think so. Other than, fuck JCPenney's, but...
That's the one thing you got from the story.
Stop it.
I'm just joking. No, I know. I have no idea. I'm stumped. I can't think of anything. Because there's no information on it.
I know. But like I said, they said that if they find anything out, they will release it. They're still searching for the person that did this, so they can at least close the case. Like I said, the person that did it's obviously long gone.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But they're apparently still optimistic, and they have theories of who did it. So I'd be curious to hear what the police's theories are and if they changed over the years. And they said all of that will be coming out when they're more certain about it.
Yeah, we should recirculate
so when
back
is
to
this
this.
gonna come out then?
They didn't say. I'm assuming they're probably waiting for maybe more people to come forward or for them to test some more things. But yeah, they said as soon as they get more information, they will be releasing who they believe did this, why, and what they'll be doing from it.
Yeah.
So we'll be curious to see what happens in the next couple months. Because they just found out 2023. Maybe at the end of this year, maybe they'll even say something.
Maybe.
Who knows? Maybe on his birthday's coming up.
Yeah.
January 13th.
Well, I hope the poor baby's resting good.
Me too.
And I would be curious to
do
a follow-up here too.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. People constantly are giving him toys, flowers, which is very sweet.
Yeah, and I hope he gets to play with them all in the afterlife.
Poor baby.
But it would be nice to see who did this, so that way he can get some sort of final justice.
Yeah, and then we can make a monument of him and then burn it
with a JCPenney sticker.
Yeah, we'll put him in a JCPenney outfit, and then we'll burn it.
The outfit alone's probably he's got social suicide there.
Oh my god, you guys are ridiculous.
No, in all serious. I hope they do catch this dude because he deserves fucking justice and horror to his name.
I agree
as well.
I hope it doesn't take another 7 decades is all I have to say.
Yeah, right.
And I'm glad that technology and DNA stuff has come so far. It's just a shame that it kind of had to be at his dispense.
Sorry, I was yawning. I didn't want to yawn into the mic, and I was making a really weird face.
But yeah, it sucks that it took him this long, and it sucks that it had to be over him. But I don't know. Hopefully that this case helped identify maybe other ones.
Yeah.
I don't know, like new DNA testings and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is where I'm going to end mine. We also wanted to just mention we have a Halloween special coming out next week. The 3 of us are doing 3 cases in one.
This is Halloween.
And it'll be coming out on Halloween, so Thursday. So we're moving it back a few days. And it should be our longest episode, we believe.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
I'm really excited for it. I love Halloween.
I think we'll be having some new music for this one, I think you said, right?
He's working on it.
I'm working on it. I'm trying to get a new jingle, the Cheese for Thought jingle. Trying to just put a spooky vibe on it, but we'll see.
Jingle bell.
Yeah, a little early, but
yeah. All right, I guess that's the end of this one. Yeah, just keep in mind our next episode will be out on Thursday, not the normal Tuesday night.
Thursday, the 31st.
That's the
Halloween.
day.
Dirty first.
All right, guys.
All right,
we're signing off. Thank you so much. This has been Ariel.
This is Drew.
And Maggie. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.